Welcome to ePut's Care in Conversation podcast. I'm Katie Thomas from the marketing team. In this episode, we'll be speaking with our employment services team about how they support people whose mental health challenges have affected their employment, helping them to move into meaningful and sustainable work. First, we'll be hearing from team lead Sharif, who can tell us about Connect to Work. Later on, we'll hear from employment specialist Karen, her client, and an employer who are all involved with the programme.
So ePut have been delivering support for people to gain paid employment over a number of years now. And we've run mainly up until this point, or up until recently, programs focused around those with severe mental illness. But over the last few years, we've started working on programs to support people with mild to moderate health needs. And we started delivering a pilot program called IPS in Primary Care back in 2023. And following that pilot delivery, the announcement was made of a national program called Connect to Work, taking the lessons from those pilot programs to design a new national program. So Connect to Work is a national service organised by Essex County Council to help residents in Greater Essex access paid work. It's funded by the Department for Work and Pensions. There are several providers offering different strands. For example, an organisation called ECL support individuals with learning difficulties and autism. Shore Trust support specific disadvantaged groups, for example, refugees, homelessness, veterans. But ePut, in partnership with a charity called Employability, who we've worked with over a number of years, deliver the mental and physical long-term health conditions strand of Connect to Work. The ePut service follows the IPS model. This stands for Individual Placement and Support. It's an established evidence-based model for supporting those who are managing health conditions into work. The key philosophy is what we call place, then train. So the idea is to place somebody in a working environment first, and then provide the training to wrap around that. And there are some core principles around IPS. It's important that we're focusing on competitive paid employment. That's a really key aim of the service. It is open to all. It's what we call zero exclusion. It's about finding jobs that are consistent with the person's preferences. So it's really important to listen to what the person says they want to do and help them to try and achieve that. We try and work really quickly to support people to be engaging and talking to the job market as soon as possible. We work in integration with other services, especially health services, and also we talk to lots of employers. We do lots of employer engagement, trying to ensure that employers out there who could be a really good match for potentially one of our participants can be engaged with, and we can start to work in partnership and build relationships with them. We also provide support not just leading up to starting work, but when somebody is in work. We provide what's called in-work support that's ongoing and will help the individual to think about how they can manage effectively when they do start a new job, which can be quite a challenging process, especially if somebody hasn't worked for a while. We do also provide help within the service for things such as benefits counselling, advice around understanding the impact on benefits of going into work. So those are the key principle of the individual placement and support model. In terms of the client journey or the participant journey, the key things that we provide are first and foremost a really good quality initial assessment. So the aim is to set up what we call a really effective vocational profile. This individual who's accessing the service, the participant, what do we know about them? What can we gain? What knowledge do we gain from them to understand their position? Talking a bit about their history, a bit about what they want to achieve from the programme, and also exploring areas such as, the financial well-being, how they feel about talking about health, what would be going into work be like for them? How would that impact them? And throughout the participant journey, we would do things such as helping them to seek work effectively, design CVs, prepare for interviews, but also to look at things such as building a plan for when they do start work, how they would cope more effectively and be organised and prepared, which generally ensures that transition into work is going to happen more smoothly and more effectively. And also, we engage with the employer. So if there is an issue that we can work with, then we'll work with both not just the participant, but the employer as well, in a three-way relationship to try and help things move along. So that's how the journey for the participant operates. So if you do want to refer to the Connect to Work service, please visit essexopportunities.co.uk, or you can email epunft, that's EPUNFT employmentservices@nhs.net, or you can call us on 0300 7900 573.
So I'd like to welcome to the podcast Karen Hatcher. Karen, hello.
Hello, Katie.
It's lovely to have you here. So work can play a huge role in someone's confidence, independence, and mental health recovery. So can you give us sort of an overview of, from your perspective as an employment specialist, what the employment services team does?
Okay, so we will work with anybody 18 above who is suffering with their mental health or disability, and we'll support them for up to a year for the whole of their employment journey. So as soon as somebody is referred in, they will be allocated to an employment specialist for the area that they cover, and then we will work with that client for the whole 12 months. Even if they get into work, as my client has, we will still support them just to make sure they're happy in the workplace, the employer's happy because we support them as well. And if there are any issues, we can try and bridge that gap. And it's evidence-based, it's individual placement support, so we do not just get, oh, there's a job vacancy and there we go. We work with their preferences and we get them into something that they really want to do, because the chances of that happening, they will stay in that job longer and they'll be more happy, and that's a big part of their mental health journey.
Yeah, that makes sense. So who would be eligible for that support?
So anyone 18 and over, and we'll work with any ages.
And how do people typically get referred into employment services?
So now we're part of the Connect to Work scheme. Prior to that, we were IPS primary care. So the job role, the support is exactly the same. The only difference is our referrals now go through to ECC, and then ECC will triage them, and there are 2 other providers on board. So the NHS EPUT will take the mental health referrals. Once they're allocated and they tick, it's important they tick on the form mental health, and then they will come through to us.
Brilliant. That's a really good overview and great to hear that people have got that support available to them. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what your role looks like sort of day to day. So what does that process look like when you first sit down with a service user and get to know them?
So I think the big part of that from the beginning is building that trust and making sure that the clients feel comfortable, because then they will engage and they will attend appointments. A lot of the work is face-to-face. So, yeah, it's primary, I think, starting to build that relationship so that they feel happy and comfortable, and you get to know their preferences, ask them what kind of work they've done in the past, what they would like to do going forward, what support they're going to need with that. And we'll do everything, CVs, we help them job applications, approaching local employers on their behalf to see what vacancies and opportunities they've got, if that's a sector that individual wants to go into.
Brilliant. And it's great to see sort of how tailored that support is to each individual, that they're able to sort of not pick and choose, but you're able to help them find what would be most suited for them in their circumstances. So on a personal note, what does it mean to you when you successfully help someone to find work?
Very rewarding, because part of our roles are, lived experience as well. So, I like to put myself in somebody else's shoes. And when I see things improving for them and the difference that's made in their life and what it's going to make going forward, it's very rewarding. It's the best part of the job, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine. Just to see sort of how someone starts and to see them sort of,
because they can be in a very low place when they come to us, and sometimes struggle to even get to that first appointment.
Yeah, but to even take that first step,
absolutely,
is even a small step in the right direction.
Yeah,
it's amazing. So, could you share an example of someone whose journey really stayed with you?
So, the client I'm currently working with, yes. I've also, one client that really stays with me is somebody I worked with probably when I'd first came over to secondary services, and he struggled with COVID, as we've noticed a lot of our young people that have come through have done. And he was working with the mental health team. He couldn't talk. And prior to that, the COVID hitting, he had been studying to be an aircraft engineer with British Airways, and everything kind of went wrong. He didn't want to leave the house. Hence why he couldn't talk. So, when he was introduced to myself, straight away there was a good connection there. And I took an interest in his hobbies and the things he liked. And then we arranged to meet without the clinician, and he slowly came out of himself. So to cut a long story short, I then got him into an apprenticeship at Stansted Airport, going back to doing what he originally wanted to do. So training to be an aircraft engineer. And that was quite a journey, really.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes all someone needs is that little bit of extra support just to get
back on the right track.
So I'm now joined by one of Karen's clients from Employment Services, who has been working closely with the team. So thanks so much for coming on to share your story. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions kind of about your journey and your perspective, because I think it's really important to hear that service user perspective as well, someone that's actually used the service and sort of where you're at now. So just to start us off, can you tell us a little bit about your journey and kind of how you found yourself working with Karen?
Well, I mean, it started in probably 2022 was when I started having bad anxiety stuff. Couldn't leave the house. I quit my job because that was where it stems from. I was out of work for about 4 years. Was signed off indefinitely, and which was a help to an extent, and then it became a hindrance. And then through DWP, they referred me to Connect to Work, and I've been with Karen for quite a few months now, and it's been great. She's helped me a lot.
What's it been like working with Karen? How did she kind of help you through that process?
I mean, it's been great. I mean, she's been going out looking for employers for me and stuff like that. But yeah, just getting my CV out there, helping me rewrite my CV to make it look a bit more presentable and stuff like that.
Brilliant. So you've successfully found employment now.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to you now that you're back in work?
Oh, it's amazing. I don't ever leave here. And I spend my days off here. I love it here.
Really?
Yeah.
So kind of tell us a little bit about your job here and how your employers supported you as well.
Well, I'm a kitchen porter, so I do the washing up and stuff. I did do a trial shift, half a day, which was rough to say the least. First time back in work in 4 years. I started the next week, and let's say within 2 or 3 weeks, I was back in the swing of things.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just taking that first step. That's the difficult part, and then...
Yeah, just that first step out of the house.
Yeah.
But I've slowly been learning bits of the kitchen, you know, whether it's dicing up vegetables and stuff like that. Hoping to eventually do an apprenticeship as a chef here.
Brilliant.
And my employer has supported me the whole way through. If anyone was in my position, I'd say take the leap. It's just a leap of faith and it will work out.
Yeah, just reach out for that support and you'll find it. You'll find a Karen.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's really great to hear your story. So we've just heard from one of our service users, and now we're incredibly fortunate to be joined by one of the local employers who actually employs that service user. So thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
From a business perspective, why did you choose to collaborate and work alongside APUT's employment services?
Well, I was approached by Karen a couple of times. She tried to get hold of me. I arranged for you to come in and see me and show me a little bit about her client. And through personal experience of my own, I was like, of course, bring him in to see me. If he's comfortable here and I'm comfortable with him, we'll go from there. And it was about a week later, wasn't it? He come on down and he come in and I offered him a trial day, see how he felt. We just went from there. I felt like you said, with a connection with him.
I knew my client would be a perfect fit for you, having spoke to you and seen your establishment. Everything just felt right. It was
within the first few weeks of me opening, and it's only been 3 months. So we're a family now in here, big family. We're a family unit. The person that walked through my door 3 months ago to the person who is now, it's completely different, and it's only going to get better. So that brings me a lot of joy to see, and it feels good to know that I'm helping him get to a better, I'm part of him getting to a better place.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah, you've kind of seen him every step of the way.
And I'm going to see him long into the future.
Yeah. Well, we heard about you supporting his apprenticeship as well, so you're encouraging him, really pushing the boat out.
Him. Because before all of this, he could have had a career with what he was doing, but unfortunate events. Now he's on to better things. Aren't you, darling?
Bigger and better.
Yeah. There's not been no bad experiences. It's all been positive. I do reckon, if anyone is thinking of doing this, give them a chance. That's all they're asking for. Do you know what I mean? I could have a budding head chef come in, next Jamie Oliver.
Absolutely.
And just because Karen from the NHS has approached me doesn't mean that there's, any we were talking about earlier, stigma to it. Do you know, because someone could walk in off the street and say you're looking for work.
Yeah, you wouldn't know anything about the history.
You wouldn't know anything about the history. So just don't be put off by that. Yeah. Embrace it, because you're doing a good thing.
So what kind of surprised you most about working with the scheme?
I met him, I liked him, there was a connection, and it's, I think we were just lucky enough that we found each other and it's working. So it's just, it's a good scheme.
I think you covered it earlier, but what would you say to other local employers considering getting involved?
Do it. It's a good thing. You're giving someone a chance. If it doesn't work out with that particular person, give someone else a chance. You're helping make someone's life better.
Would you take on another?
Yes, I would. As successful as he's been after 3 months, definitely. It feels good to know that I'm helping him.
Thank you so much. I really
welcome.
Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Before we wrap up today, I'd love to bring back our employment specialist, Karen, for a quick final thought. So we've just heard two amazing sides of the same coin from both a service user and an employer. So why is building these strong community employer relationships so vital for EPUT?
You know, it's important that employers know that we're here and what we do, because it works. You know, it does work, and it saves employers trolling through CVs and applications. You know, just because our clients are suffering with mental health doesn't mean to say they haven't got amazing skills, or they're more than capable of doing the jobs that are out there. And like I said at the start, we support the employers as well.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone benefits from it.
Absolutely.
And we've heard some really successful stories today, so, I mean, it works. So what would you say to a service user who might feel nervous or thinks that their mental health history might prevent them from getting back into the workplace?
No, it doesn't. It's a barrier that we can break down. And by building those relationships, slowly and surely, they will get there. And all the gains from it, they make friends, they become part of a family, perhaps, you know, they earn money, they get their independence back. You know, working is a big part of mental health recovery.
Thank you to our employment specialist, Karen, and our employer and service user for sharing your time, journeys, and invaluable insights with us today. As we've seen, recovery looks different for everyone, but meaningful work and supportive employers can make a really big difference. If you or someone you know would like to learn more about EPUT's employment services, the areas covered, or the Connect to Work scheme, you can visit our website at eput.nhs.uk. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Care and Conversation. We'll be back soon with more stories and insights from across EPUT.